That's what I choose to believe because I thought they loved each other. And now they're divorced. Hey everybody, welcome back to I Got Bored. My name's Aiden Vargas, and as of 30 seconds ago, I finally finished the 7th DCC book. When I get my hands on the author, when I get my hands on you, Matt. Anyways, my goal was to finish books 1 through 7 before, I believe it was May 12th, when the 8th DCC book dropped, and it's like May 29th, 28th, 27th, it's like May. I did not accomplish my goal. I did not do it, but in my defense, I never really thought I was going to be able to pull it off because these books are literally freaking encyclopedias. They're almost 1,000 pages. I read 300-page books, and these are like 700, 800, 900-page books. And as we have all learned, I am the world's slowest reader. So no, I didn't finish books 1 through 7 before the release of 8, but I am done now, and it's finally time to read Dungeon Crawler Carl, book 8, and we're freaking doing it together. That's right, this is a reading vlog. We're reading this book together because the hype is hyped. I'm ready to cry. I already cried. I had tears streaming down my face earlier with the end of 7. But I'm ready to cry some more, probably. These books are literally consuming my life. They're literally ruining my life. I do not remember who I was before starting these books. My quality of life was probably better, or maybe it was worse. I don't know. I'm obsessed with these books. This book is another 800 pages, and my goal is to finish it before the end of May, which is, I believe, 3 or 4 days. Why am I doing this? Because June 1st is the start of Slasher Summer. I am obsessed with Slasher Summer. It is my favorite part of the year. I look forward to it every year where I consume as many summer slashers as humanly possible, and I want to start June 1st, which means I have to be done with this book by June 1st so I can start my first slasher summer book, which is book 2 in the Slasherverse series. I have a really long list of slasher summer books to get through, so I need as many days of summer as possible to do all of them. Am I going to be able to finish an 800-page book in 4 days? Yes, if I cancel the rest of my life. Yeah, I think I will if I do absolutely nothing else but read. I have no idea yet if this vlog is gonna have any spoilers. I do want to remain spoiler free because I believe that everybody should read these books. And if you're watching this video, I want you to be able to watch this video, but I want you to be able to read this book. So I'm like kind of torn. Like, I want you to watch my video, but I want you to read this book. I want you to watch my video, but I want you to read this book. I kind of want to do both. So I feel like I should do no spoilers. But at the same time, if somebody dies, I'm going to grab my camera and cry into it. So we'll see. I think I'm going to start off no spoilers and then maybe do my little 3, 2, 1, here we go spoiler section. If anything particularly juicy happens that I just need to talk and rant and rave about, I'll go ahead and put that in here with a little spoiler caveat. I'm probably going to read like 25%, come back to an update, 50, come back to an update, 75, come back to an update, and then if anything super important, amazing, sad, gross, terrible, terrifying, makes me want to kill myself happens, I'll come back and report on that too. And it's DCC, so I'm sure Matt's gonna make me feel all of those emotions, especially since there's only 3 books left, because there's gonna be 10 in the entire series, so we're on 8, and then there's just 2 left. I feel like this floor is going to be really insane and crazy. So please join me as I read DCC book 8. I know I'm a little bit behind everybody else, but please spare me. I'm the world's slowest reader. We also need to talk about the fact that there's going to be a DCC live action. Maybe we'll talk about that at the end of this video because I need to start reading already. I don't know why I'm wasting time talking to you guys. I have 4 days to do this. These shackles are of my own making. No one's forcing me to do this but me. Steak too juicy, lobster too buttery, whatever the saying is. My life is just books. I do want to do a really fast, really quick spoiler section about DCC Book 7. I'm going to talk more about DCC Book 7 when I do my monthly recap video. But I'm like fresh off the emotion of it, and I need to talk about it a little bit because I was indeed crying. I was indeed crying just now. So if you haven't read DCC Book 7, The Inevitable Ruin, go ahead and skip to me montage reading, I guess, because I'm going to spoil some stuff. 3, 2, 1, here we go. Katya! Are we never gonna see her again? Are we never gonna see Katya again? Are we never gonna see Katya again? Are we never gonna see her again? I thought we were gonna see her again on floor 12. But so are we not gonna see her again until the very last book? When Carl destroys the whole universe? That's my theory, is what's gonna happen in the last book. He's gonna like destroy the whole universe or something. Are we never gonna she's my favorite character. She's Matt, where is she? I really thought she gave up on the whole baby thing. I thought she gave up, but of course not. It was foreshadowed the whole time, and I was stupid to believe that she wasn't going to pick the baby thing. Especially, I can't believe I didn't even think about the fact that with the Lucia Marr shit, that she would feel the need to protect the babies. Katya, you're too good. You're too good, and I'm going to miss you. I'm going to miss you so much. The donut and the Carl of it all. The donut and the Carl. She's strong. She's powerful. She's my best friend. She's the only family I have left. The way that Matt did the smartest thing ever of making Donut like a 3-year-old cat, because if Donut was like a normal woman, the shippers would be shipping hard and I would be captaining the ship. I would be shipping them so hard. Literally, I would burn the whole world down for her. When Balmo died and he realized that Donut was alone and he just hot Carl, oh my god. I can't. Their relationship is so pure. Their reuniting was so pure, was so beautiful. My heart melts. Side note, when the goddess impregnated Katya and looked at Carl and said, I know who you want the daddy to be, but sadly he can't. Batista right there, like, sorry, Batista. Everybody wants Carl to be the father of their children. We all know this. We all have these thoughts. We all think this as well. Mordecai getting to kill Huxton with that little loophole. Lewis, what's gonna go on with Lewis? He's half fish now and the father of Katya's baby. That was so incredibly cute. Juicebox, justice for Juicebox. She was a woman in love, and he didn't love her back. Why? Who proposed? Whose idea was it to get married? Was it because his best friend died that he was no longer excited about the wedding, that he no longer felt that he loved Juicebox? Theory. That's what I choose to believe, because I thought they loved each other. And now they're divorced. Samantha continues to piss me off. I thought I was liking her. She is my friend's favorite character. I killed the god's son. Why would you say that? Why would you say that, Samantha? Why would you? But she did give Lewis her body, which is like redeemable. Can't wait for the Odette of it all. Can't wait. Carl is married. Carl's married. I really enjoyed the chapters that we got from the other cookbook authors, and I thought that was nice, getting to like get those little glimpses. A lot of it went over my head, if I'm going to be honest. The lore in this book gives me a headache. A lot of it goes over my head, but I really liked seeing the trauma and the toll that the dungeon took on them, and seeing that they were still fighting the good fight. Milk, love her. The fact that she fulfilled her servitude, her indentureship, by the yearbook, by filling the yearbook with all those beautiful comments and the share and the AI helping Carl and the sharing of the skills, and it was basically just a love note to Donut and Carl, and it fulfilled her indentureship. That was heart hurt. It was amazing. It was beautiful. Those are all the thoughts that I had about book 7. I probably have more. I'm forgetting them, but I literally just finished the book, and then I raced to set up my camera before I lost the light so I could film this intro so I could get started on book 8. I have so little time. I'm gonna get started right now. So come read Dungeon Crawler. I don't even know the title of this book. Parade of Horribles. Come read Dungeon Crawler Carl, book 8, The Parade of Horribles, with me 2 weeks later than I was supposed to be reading it. In 4 days, 800 pages. Let's get started. Let's go. I'm so fucking excited. I just got done with literally the worst Pilates class of my life. I made the mistake of taking back-to-back Pilates classes because I'm starting my new job tomorrow. I'm super excited, but with my new schedule, I don't know when I'm going to be able to fit in that extra class. So I was like, I'll just take a double today. And it was the worst mistake ever. It was with a new instructor, and she was not very good. I'm in so much pain. I hope I'm not sore tomorrow, but I need to film this update because I'm not gonna hit my goal, you guys. I'm not gonna do it. I'm trying. I'm literally reading as fast as humanly possible. I am reading while making food. I'm reading while brushing my teeth. I am trying, but I started this vlog on Friday, like late Friday, like post 7 p.m. Friday is when I started book 8 of DCC. That was May 29th. I read a majority of Saturday. I was reading, and then today. Today is the 31st, which makes tomorrow June 1st. Anyways, let's see where we're at. Let's see how far I've gotten in during these 3 days of reading. According to my phone, according to my Kindle, I'm on page 290 out of 766. That's 37%. I was going to come and update at 25%, but nothing's really happened yet. So I decided to just read as far as humanly possible and then do an update. So 37%. I'm hoping to at least get past 50 by the end of today. I do plan to read for the rest of the day, and then hopefully tomorrow after my first day of my new job, I can also read tomorrow. I'm hoping to not prolong this past June 3rd. I am listening to some Summer Slasher audiobooks to try and make up for the fact that I am already falling behind on my Summer Slasher challenge. But that's okay because so far this book is good. It's DCC. Of course it's good. I know I was going back and forth on whether or not I was going to include spoilers, but upon reflection, this is the 8th book in a series. If you're watching this video, you either have no interest in 1 through 7, or you've read 1 through 7. Maybe you're tandem reading 8 with me right now. Why would I not spoil? I don't have vlogs on 1 through 7. So you're really just jumping in at book 8. I've decided to spoil because I can't mention a single character without thus spoiling the whole series. Like if I mention a character, you know they're still alive. I mention Mordecai, you know he didn't die. I mention Donut, you know she's still alive, you know? So I feel like I just have to spoil just because I would be avoiding so much. Everything I say in this is going to be a spoiler because it's the 8th book. We're 8 books in. The system for this level is Matt Ditteman ripping out my fucking heart and stomping on it. I fully believe that he was like, what's the worst possible system that I could make for these people? Because Katya is gone. Mario Kart. Fucking racetrack. Katya, the gearhead, Katya, the engine girly, Katya, the girl who's like literally made all of Carl's fucking chariots, Katya, the tank of a woman, the machine, would kill at this level. And she's gone? She's no longer in the book. I get it, Matt, she's gone. Did you have to make the level directly after her departure literally Katya heaven? She'd be first. Pissed. So basically the level is Mario Kart. They walk in. Oh, the whole deal thing. We all knew that Carl and Donut weren't going to take deals, so none of that was surprising whatsoever. The whole Donut's lawyer thing, hope she dies. Hope she dies. She's over here stealing money from Donut. She is siphoning money away from the Princess Posse. She is married to Carl now, my husband. Excuse you, you're gonna have to fight Katya for that. That's crazy. Now she's just married to Carl. Hate her. And now she's like trying to get Quasar, Carl's lawyer, out of the picture. I love him. He's the only non-crawler that hasn't completely tried to fuck Carl over. Well, there's Zev too, but Quasar, stay away from my Quasar. Don't even. The thing that I'm actually most excited about finishing this book is that I can finally look up DCC fanfics, DCC fan art, DCC TikToks. I haven't seen any because I was afraid that I would get spoilers, and I don't know what any of these characters look like. I have just been using my imagination, and I want to see all the fan art because I'm sure there's crazy good fan art. So the second I finish this book, literally DCC, Dungeon Crawler Carl, Hot Carl, Donut edits, Donut TikToks, Katya fan art, L fan art, L fan fiction, L fan. Katya, DCC, TikTok, TikTok, TikTok. You know, that's what I want. That's what I need. I'm so excited for that. Anyways, they talk to their lawyer. That's beautiful. They don't take deals, obviously. None of the key players take deals, obviously. I would have been shocked if any of them took a deal. I feel like actually that's wrong. I thought one or two like side characters might have taken a deal. Like Brittany maybe might have like just squeaked a deal out, like Tran, I don't know. Um None of them did. Now it's the system. Carl literally has led his men into slaughter. He has been fighting, lost Katya, almost lost Donut. This man has not had a break. And then he walks into a garage and he has to pick a vehicle. Donut picks another class, and of course she's just like, picked one. My girl. Think, read them, listen to Mordecai. Anyways, they have to pick a biological or mechanical vehicle because they're racing. They are literally in Mario Kart. Kind of hate it because I suck at Mario Kart. I feel like too much is out of their control. I'm really worried for them. But basically, it's them versus NPCs, racing. If whoever comes in last spontaneously combusts. So if you come in last in a race, you die. How many key characters do we think are going to die in this book? 3? I think 3. Like, I'm really worried that we're going to lose some key characters. I'm like so freaking worried. Like, Lewis's team has come in last, second to last, almost every single thing. So if you win the race, you get upgrades for your vehicle. If you're not second to last, you get to pick one upgrade. If you're second to last, the fans get to pick an upgrade, and the fans, of course, be fucking people over with their little joke upgrades. Carl and Donut are driving a food truck. They're driving a Mr. Chicken food truck. We did meet a new NPC though, the little goblin girly who is working on their food truck. I love her. Her name, I forget. Heidi? Love her. She's the mechanic. She's giving what Katya could have if Katya was still here. But also, Katya's not even in their party anymore, which Katya left their party to save the daughters. But I kind of feel like these last 2 books, Katya's been like, not doing that. Why didn't she join the party again in this last book? Katya, I miss you. So basically, they discover that in this first heat, all the crawlers are racing teams of NPCs. If the NPC wins the last heat, they get like freedom. So the NPCs want to win. They are fighting for freedom. But if you kill too many of the other teams, they're going to start combining crawler versus crawler races, which means that you could be racing against your friends. And in fact, that already happened because Lena is going cuckoo bananas crazy because she has that stupid ring of suffering that she is suffering from because she marked a bunch of people in the last book and they got away. And so even though she's like literally maxed out because she's killed so many people with the stupid fucking ring, Carl threw away his ring. I'm so grateful for that. But anyways, Lena's going crazy. Her brother's dead. She's like killing people left and right. She killed everybody in her race. So now her and her friend, cousin, Tran, no, Zhang, Lena and Zhang are racing Tran. What else has even happened? Literally, this whole 37% of the book so far has just been setting up what I'm sure will be like the rest of the book. So the races, and that's kind of it. The part that I just read, the goddess of chaos is still trying to get Carl to worship her and abandon Empress, the sun god. She's like, I'll protect you. And Carl's like, should I kill you? Should I kill Empress? She's being really like, she like flipped a coin and she's like, this is gonna decide your fate. Donut's gonna die. I'm gonna chop off your feet. All your friends are gonna die, kind of thing. And Carl's like, no. Snatches the coin out of the air and she's like, you love chaos. She's being creepy and she's dropping all of this like lore about the fact that Brittany might be cursed and something about Flora. Like, she's just, something's gonna happen with the Chaos Queen. Something's gonna happen with Empress because Carl still has to kill Empress's brother, but Empress doesn't want Carl to kill his brother. I'm so worried for him. Poor Donut. Donut's going through it. Donut keeps like wiping her paw on things, the paw that she used to kill a bunch of people. She's struggling, but she doesn't want to show it. She got this celestial box upgrade so now her claws are like insanely strong. And when she realizes that everything she touches with her claws basically gets destroyed, the first question out of her mouth was, how am I going to sit on Carl's shoulder now? My precious princess, my precious Carl and Donut's relationship has grown so much. It's literally insane. I can't get over it. Their relationship is so wholesome and amazing and beautiful and great. And literally nothing else has happened really. So far I'm enjoying the book. I'm mostly missing Katya. We're really setting stuff up. And I'm pretty sure that this book is going to have both 10 and 11, floors 10 and 11. And I think that book 9 is going to be the Ascendancy Games, which is floor 12. So I think that we're going to kind of like mosey through floor 10, which is the racing, and then go into floor 11, which the AI mentioned what floor 11 is, but I kind of forgot. But I feel like 10 and 11 are both going to be in this book, kind of like how floors 1 and 2 were in book 1. I feel like I should talk about like the Justice Light lore and the breaking of the Nothing and the Ascendancy Games kind of like falling apart, and also the gods getting free and Odette doing stuff and all that, but I'm not going to because I kind of don't understand it. The lore is really loring. I feel like I never really understand the lore until the end, where I'm like, I see it now. But basically a lot of bad shit is happening, and I'm just really worried for everybody. I'm really worried that we're going to lose some key people in this book. So I'm going to keep going because I'm trying to finish this book within the next 2 days, and I think I'm doing pretty good. I'm on page 300 of nearly 800. I will check back with you guys at probably closer to like 66%. I feel like now we're going through thirds, going back to reading. Matt, I love you, but shorter books? No, they can't be any shorter. They're masterpieces. I'm sorry I even said that. I'm done. I finished Dungeon Crawler Carl. I finished it on June 5th. So 5 days after when I wanted to finish it, but 2 days after what I realistically thought was possible. I just started a new job this week. So I have both more time to read and less time to read because I get home earlier, but like I came home on Monday and I was like, okay, I'm gonna finish Dungeon Crawler Carl today. I only had like 300 pages left and I had the whole rest of my day. So I was like, I'm gonna finish it, fell asleep immediately. Was so tired, so exhausted, so emotionally drained from meeting so many people that I just fell asleep. And then on Tuesday I had to travel for work and I had to meet so many people and I had a meeting and I had like a team dinner, and then I got back to my hotel room and I was on the phone with my husband and then I fell asleep again. So I just had less time to read than I thought. I really hope you can't hear my dishwasher. My dishwasher is running because I didn't think about the fact that I was about to film when I pressed start, and that's where we are. I also never came back to do a second update with you guys because if I'm being completely honest, nothing happened in the book. Nothing was really happening in the book. I feel like this book, similar to book 2, was more of like a filler book. It felt like the whole book existed to set up the next book, which is the next book is supposed to be like so much stuff is happening. This book ended in such a confusing way, but the next like big event is the Ascendancy Games. That's huge. So I feel like this book, it's sandwiched between Faction Wars and the Ascendancy Games. So it's kind of like a, I don't want to say that it's like a slog or like you don't want to read it, but even in the beginning of this book, like I think it was the AI or somebody said like, welcome to the 10th floor. No, the 10th and 11th floors aren't just going to be filler for before you get to Ascendancy. But it kind of was because we come off this big high of Faction Wars with all of this like we have been Carl has been setting up for Faction Wars for the past several books, like the whole secretly getting a faction spot and the Princess Bossy thing and the money and the everything with Juicebox and the NPCs, and then how they plant the tiara and everything with Katya. Like everything was leading up to Faction Wars. So we're like reading all of these books and like, oh my god, Faction Wars, are they going to survive? Like Faction Wars is kind of like the big thing, and now Faction Wars is done. And Faction Wars ripped my fucking heart out, and I miss Katya and like all of this trauma that is now following them. And then immediately we're on to this like Mario Kart. I don't care. I don't care. Like, it's just we got to the peak, which was Faction Wars, and now it's kind of like, how do you top Faction Wars? Honestly, Matt, like, had a really hard task. And so this book, I feel like, was like a breath sort of filler, because now the Ascendancy games, that's another really big thing that we're hyping up for. We also had to deal with like Carl and his god shit and all that stuff. So I just felt like nothing was really happening plot wise, because this book was sort of just like breathing after everything that happened in Faction Wars, and then recovering from the fact that there are more people, like the AI is in shambles. There are more parties that are sort of like fighting to take over the crawl. It's not just the crawlers. So it's also just like dealing with the trauma of surviving Faction Wars, information overload of like all these different people that have their hands in the pot of like the crawl, the AI falling apart. What is Carl gonna do? And then the fact that they still have to do the level. Like, they're just trying, like, they still have to actually participate in this stupid game that the AI has made. The AI is totally falling apart. Like, it's just so much, so much. I just felt it was so much for the characters. So it was more just like information, uncovering information. And then nothing was really happening that I felt like I could check in with you guys and be like, okay, this happened, because nothing was happening. We were just learning information, if that makes sense. I was correct that this was floors 10 and 11. So floor 10 was the Mario Kart stuff, and then floor 11 was literally just like a parade. They built like these parade floats. The AI is losing it. The AI is freaking going crazy. And then the big boss battle, they're just supposed to fight Miss Krakaren, Miss, like, the crack Karen that we've been hearing so much about. They're supposed to fight her, but then Carl over here is like, I summon Scalderopia. I don't even know how to say that, but the dungeon boss. And then he summons the fucking god that's in love with the pig. I was like, why? He was racing against these guys who were in love with a pig. Like a pig. Like not a pig, a crawler, not a pig mom, a pig. Like Wilbur. Charlotte's Web type pig. And she's protected by a god that's in love with her, and so he kills the tigers that are like the racers, and then he takes the pig. And I'm like, what do you want with this pig? It's because he turned the pig into a crawler, so that way the god who's in love with the pig would come down. And then he also summons Empress and is like, I know who killed your son. Me, bitch. Carl left the party with Donut because he wanted to use his stupid clover patch, where if he wears a clover patch on his jacket, a lethal blow that's done to him will go to another party member. So it would have gone to Donut, but he didn't trust her cockroach skill. He didn't want to kill Donut, and so he leaves the party. But then the pig is in his party, so the lethal blow goes to the pig. But Carl also summoned this god that gives him invulnerability for 90 seconds because of his fancy little jacket. And it also gives the pig invulnerability because he gave the pig these like matching knee pads or something that's also from the Scavenger's Daughter. And she survives, but not before the god who's in love with the pig kills Empress. Empress is dead. Dead, like for real dead, because they removed his invulnerability. That's one way to not get a smite, Carl. That's one way to not get a smite, I suppose. So where did we actually leave off? This book, I can't explain it. I don't even remember what I read, but not in a I don't remember what I read because it was bad. Like a book was so bad that you don't remember what you read. I don't remember what I read because literally, what the fuck was I reading? At some point, we're joining together two halves of a man. We lost Don Quixote. We lost him. That's really sad. We lost a lot of NPCs. A lot of NPCs kind of just went missing. And then we learned that there's this thing called the Pineapple Cabaret, where Harriet, one of the former writers of the cookbook, he has like carved out this secret space that's kind of within the dungeon, but is like not within the dungeon, where NPCs can go and live in peace. So he really advocates for like the safety of NPCs. Well, crawlers can theoretically also go there. So now they're trying to like send crawlers to the Pineapple Cabaret to get out of the dungeon because it's all falling apart. And so they send Lena. We lost Lena. She was going absolutely crazy. They do it by sucking up crawlers inside of a vacuum. Or no, putting crawlers inside of pet carriers, sucking the pet carrier inside of a vacuum, putting the vacuum on the marketplace for Harriet to buy, and then they pop up in the Pineapple Cabaret. Very risky. We think it works because they have this like system I can't even explain, but we think it works. So we're sending bunches and bunches of crawlers to the Pineapple Cabaret, because we're trying to decrease the amount of crawler on crawler Mario Kart races, because for the last 2 heats, only one person's going to survive, but it's heats of 3. So if they're all 3 crawlers, only one crawler is going to survive. So we're trying to get as many crawlers off the playing field as possible, not really forcing them, but really convincing them to take deals. Not everybody listens. I don't know why people don't listen to Carl, but not everybody listens. So here we are, the final heat. I'm pissed about the fact that in those little vlogging clips my husband was filming me, we ended that last clip 1 page before I found out that Florian and Lucia were going to be racing against Lewis and Brittany, meaning only one of those teams was going to survive. And Amani and Elle were going to be racing against Batista. We stopped it at that page, stopped filming. The next page I read that, you would have seen my jaw drop, my face fall, tears start. I was like, I couldn't deal. Of course, Carl finds a way for that not to happen. What I hated was the fact that, so Lucia has children in her head. All 10,000 children from Earth. I still do not understand the Lucia stuff. And so Lewis is like, guys, we're going up against Florian and Lucia. What do we do? And Jurgen is like, kill yourself. Kill yourself. He literally doesn't think twice about it. He's like, we need to keep Lucia alive. You know what you have to do. Kill yourself. And I'm like, I'm kind of not caring about the Lucia plot, because every single time another crawler ends up, the amount of times that other crawlers have sacrificed themselves for Lucia, I'm just like, not my Lewis. No. But it's fine because Carl has a Carl plan. They go to the Desperado Club, and way back in another book, Carl played this like roulette spinning wheel game where you spin this wheel and you can get a good prize or a bad prize. And one of the slots on that wheel is you go to the nothing. Well, the nothing is broken because of Justice Light in the past book. So then Carl's like, well, if the nothing is broken, Rosetta is like, it's a holding, like a limbo, basically. It becomes a limbo. So then they have this brilliant idea to go to the Desperado Club and basically turn the wheel to the nothing, and Brittany and Lewis jump in, and Batista jumps in? No, Chris. Batista's been gone. Batista's the one who's in love with Katya. Batista's been gone. He got sucked up with the robots and went to the Pineapple Cabaret. Chris was going to be racing against his love, Amani, and they had this really cutesy goodbye scene, Chris and Amani. And also, Chris is human again. He's no longer a rock monster because he got turned into a werewolf because of the Scalendrolopia attack. So they got to have this really beautiful goodbye moment. So they go into the nothing. There's also this like little detail where they have to fight a bunch of monsters because the monsters secretly took over the Desperado Club. Plot twist: the very last chapter of this book, they didn't get to the Pineapple Cabaret. They got like zoomed, stolen, and taken to Sheol. And Brittany, sus. What's up with Brittany? I'm kind of side-eyeing her a little bit. It seems like her and Pontiff, I don't know what's going up with that, but it, like, the whole book was ending, and I was like, because my husband already read it, and he was like, you're gonna have such a, like, you're gonna feel so empty when you because I've been reading these books, like reading all 80 of these books. He's like, you're gonna feel so empty after you finish this book. And I was setting up for it where I was like, I think I'm actually gonna be fine. Like, I don't think I'm gonna feel that like emptiness. I don't think I'm gonna feel a slump because like I have Sasha Summer on deck, so I already know what books I'm gonna read next. And this is ending kind of like as like it's ending kind of fine. And then the very last epilogic chapter of the fact that Lewis, Chris, and Brittany have just been stolen off to Sheol, and Brittany and Pontiff, there's something sus going on with them, and Chris is about to transform into a werewolf, so they might kill him. Well, now I need the next book, because the way things end with Carl and them, it's just Carl, Donna, Amani, and Elle, and Florin and Lucia, I believe, are the only crawlers left. They're the only, and some like random people that we know nothing about, some side characters, like characters we've never met. Background, unimportant crawlers. But those are like the main people that are left, and they turned Scoundrel Pia into a pet, only they didn't turn, Donut used the wrong biscuit, and they turned her into a crawler that's in love with Carl. That's gonna be silly and funny. Oh, Prepotente and Jurgen are also still there. Loving Prepotente and Carl's relationship. When Carl was talking to him about when they were racing the last two heats, they were going through this like Coraline-esque apartment where every room was a what if scenario of the crawlers' lives. Like, what if Amani left home, her uncle still would have died? What if, what was another one? Zhang's dad didn't die. Yeah, it was just like what if scenarios basically. And one of them was, what if Miriam Dom didn't go home to take care of her dying parents? She never would have met Prepotente. And Prepotente was like, her life would have been so much better without me. And Carl was like, no, no, no. And he's like, no, nobody wants me, nobody likes me. Like, I didn't even get to sing karaoke, which, by the way, Carl and Donut's karaoke performance bar fight, I cannot wait for that to be in the live action. I cannot wait to see that. Take on Me by Aha, Carl, you and your pipes. I want to see that on screen so bad. But Prepotente was rehearsing so hard to do karaoke, and he never got to go, and he was so heartbroken about it. And he's like, nobody likes me, nobody wants me, no one cares about me. And Carl's like, I care about you. You're a part of our herd. And then Prepotente hugs him, and he's like, you can call me Pony if you want. Oh, their friendship is so adorable and cute. Carl is just collecting little animals left and right, his pet companions. I fucking love Pony. I love him so much. And then he got to sing on the parade, and it was beautiful, and everybody's like, oh my god, that was beautiful, that was so good. And Prepotente's like, yeah, love him. Love him. I wasn't liking him, but now I'm really liking him because he's just a little guy. That was like tangent, and now I have no idea what I was talking about. Just the fact that the main story ended like pretty solid. It ended pretty solid, and I was like, okay, like I'm chill to leave this series for a year and come back to it when the 9th book is released. But then just that epilogic scene pulled me back in, and I was like, actually, Matt, I want the 9th book now. I feel like Mordecai wasn't really in this book. I feel like he's kind of been less and less in them because he's out of his element. Carl and Donut, I love them with all my heart. When Donut was like, everybody's always talking about how you would react if you lost me, but how about what I would react if I lost you? I can't be without you. I don't want to lose you. My heart, they're ripping my heart out. Why do I care so much about a guy and a cat? And then when Carl was saying goodbye to her and he like held her close and sniffed her, there was just so much Carl and Donut in this book, and it kept making me tear up. Like the amount of times that Carl would just like hug Donut, or like, oh my god, when Carl had to kill their friends, the friends that they saved in the first race, because of that fucking other crawler, Oslov or whatever his name was, lied about crossing the finish line, and so Carl had a backup plan and planted bombs in his friend's truck and blew him up right before they crossed the finish line, but Oslov was actually in last place. I'm glad he died, but whenever Carl and Donut saw that they actually were in first place, their friends, and Oslov lied, and the fact that he just like sensed Donut tense up and he just like pulls her into his lap and they hug. I'm just like, their relationship, if something happens, nothing can happen divergent in that. I feel like, yeah, but I don't think Matt would do this. But if one of them dies or if something happens to one of them, I'm never gonna recover. I don't want to see that happen. No. Their relationship is just so good. So good. So good. Also, the bonus chapter at the end with that girl who wrote that book from like books and books and books ago. It was like the fourth book or something, I think. Like the third or fourth book, where Carl did like that panel, and there was that girl who wrote that book, and the book is blowing up, and she's telling the story, the lore, the fairy tale of Sconjalopia, and she's like, yeah, the first attack is called the Parade of Horribles, and then the second one is called the Inevitable Ruin, and then the next one is Bedlam. That's the book titles in backwards order. Is Matt telling us the story of Sconjalopia? Is Carl even alive? Is any of this real? Meta as fuck. What is happening? Who is Carl? What? I read that chapter and I got really confused because, if I'm being honest, this whole book outside of the crawler stuff confuses me so much. The AI and the primal stuff, that is what gets a little bit too sci-fi for me. If it wasn't for the Carl and Donut and the crawlers and the NPCs and like all of that story, I would not be reading this book, because the lore, the actual lore of the book, over my head. Could not explain it to you if I tried. It confuses the ever living out of me. If this book was purely that, would not be touching it with a 10-foot pole. It's kind of like with Criminal Minds. How it's like, you're not watching Criminal Minds for like the fucked up serial killers. Like, maybe you are. But like, nobody becomes addicted to Criminal Minds, and Criminal Minds doesn't become your comfort show because of the fucked up serial killers. It's like the AJ. It's the JJ and the Spencer of it all. It's the Morgan and the baby girl. It's the lives of the people. For me, it's the lives of the crawlers that is bringing me back in the relationships, and they're so well done and so beautifully written. Everything else is just like, no idea what's going on. I'm so confused. Right now. I'm so glad that I'm finally done, because now I can look up Dungeon Crawler Carl fan art and see what all of the characters look like, because I don't know what they're actually in canon supposed to look like, because I haven't been able to look up any Dungeon Crawler Carl anything, because I didn't want to get spoilers. So I'm excited to do that. I'm excited to see like theories and posts and just engage in the Dungeon Crawler Carl community now that I'm all caught up. That's like literally what I've been the most excited about. I'm excited. I'm apprehensive for the live action. I still think it would have made more sense as a cartoon. I absolutely do. But I'm really excited for books 9 and 10. I will most likely re-audiobook 1 through 8 in preparation for 9. And then when 10 comes out, I'm going to be back here reading it live with you, because I cannot imagine how we're going to end this. Because I'm not even going to theorize. I don't know how you can possibly end this, because the entire time that I started reading this, I was like, oh, the end is going to be he gets to the 18th floor and he wins, of course. But there's no 18th floor technically right now. Like, I have no idea how Matt's gonna land this plane, but in the best way possible. I'm excited to see how he lands the plane. I'm trying to think if there was anything else that I haven't touched on, any other great little details or bits. I think my only other critique, I did end up giving this book a 4, a solid 4. It's not my fave. Maybe I'll put like a little ranking off to the side of 1 through 8, top to bottom, what my faves are. This one would probably be towards the bottom, just because it felt very filler. And how do you top Faction Wars? But my other main critique was the fact that I feel like we didn't get enough PTSD. That kind of sounds that sounds terrible to say. I feel like we did get a lot of Carl internal struggle of just like wanting a break, because he gets off he gets out of Faction Wars after all these people die for him, and immediately starts racing. He's talking about how he hasn't had a break. He wants a break. He notices that Donut keeps wiping her paw, because it's the paw that she used to kill everybody. I just felt like there wasn't enough. There wasn't like a Donut, Lena, like apology scene where Lena like lashes out. We never saw any of Lena's unraveling. Like we never learned about what happened in Beijing. We never saw her rip out her own eye. We never saw her kill all of the NPCs. We never saw her like de-evolve. We were kind of just told that she was, and then she was gone. Like her brother died. She's going crazy. We didn't get a single scene with her. I feel like the stuff with Linus and Minus was solved like really, really fast. Amani, I thought we'd finally get like an Amani backstory with like the Amani Coraline thing. Nothing. Amani still doesn't break. Like I just feel like there's so many people dealing with the trauma of faction wars, and I felt like we could have gone deeper, and maybe there just wasn't time to do that. But I feel like everybody just moved on really fast, and maybe it's because, you know what, it's the 11th fucking floor and they're used to it by now. But I don't know, I just feel like there could have been a little bit more of a focus on that. Like Donut and Carl didn't really have like a heart to heart about dealing with what they did in faction wars, or like the people that they killed, or like any of it. And you know what, you don't want to show them that it's getting to you, and you don't want to show them that you're breaking. It's just, it felt a little weird because this was immediately after faction wars and it just felt like there was no reflection. But maybe that'll come later because they're still fighting for their lives, so they don't really have time to do that. Those were my only two like main critiques. I also think that it doesn't help that I was reading them. I started reading them just for fun. I started reading them because I didn't think I was gonna like them, and then I liked them. I started reading them for fun, and then I found out that the 8th book was coming out, and so now I was kind of reading them in anticipation of the 8th book. I was racing to get to the 8th book, so I think I'm coming off the high of like experiencing every single book back to back to back, and then I'm coming straight off the high of faction wars, and then this book felt a little bit like a letdown because of the content, and that it was just more filler. Whereas I feel like if I had read them a bit more organically, or if I hadn't been racing to read to this 8th book, maybe I wouldn't be feeling the same, because the book, I feel, makes sense for its place in the series. Just for me, it felt lackluster because of how I ended up consuming the books. So maybe on a reread, I'll appreciate the book more. Just right now, I'm like, okay, just give me the Ascendancy games. Like, let's just keep this going. I am no better than the Capitol. I'm no better than the Center System. I'm aware of that. Okay, but that's all I have to say about Dungeon Crawler Carl 8. If you're a fan of Dungeon Crawler Carl, let's chat in the comments. What did you think of 8? What's your favorite book in the series? Are you excited for the live action? Are you apprehensive like I am? What are your theories for how this is all going to end? What do you think about literally just anything? I want to talk Dungeon Crawler Carl with people now that I can talk Dungeon Crawler Carl with people. Let me know in the comments if you liked the style of video, if you liked the kind of like reading vlog-esque thing. What you think. Let's chat about whatever. I'm done. I'm gonna go to the Strawberry Festival. I'm super excited. I'm super excited to start Slosher Summer. If you have any Slosher Summer recommendations, please drop those below as well. I will read them because I'm obsessed with summer sloshers. But I think that's it. So, Pagebound and Fable linked in the caption below if you would like to connect, and I'll see you in the next chapter. Off the top of my head, if I had to rank the Dungeon Crawler Carl books, top would be the Iron Tangle, I think. And then Faction Wars, probably the Hunting Floor. These aren't the titles of the books. Probably the Hunting Floor, and then probably the Bubble System. Wait, no. Probably the Card System. Yeah. So Iron Tangle's the fave. I miss Katya. We didn't talk about Katya enough. I was really hoping one of the end chapters was going to be Katya. Bring her back. She better be in book 9. Anyways, so Iron Tangle, Faction Wars, the Hunting Grounds, the Card System, the Bubble System, the first book, this 8th book, and then the second book. Is that all of them? Iron Tangle, Faction Wars, Hunting Grounds, Card System, Bubble System, first book, this book, second book. That would be my ranking. That's how I would rank Dungeon Crawler Carl, just kind of like off the top of my head. Yeah.